Do you sometimes feel that women kind of act like martyrs?
I think martyr's a word that's overused.
Okay,
I just,
for lack of a better word, I don't know what else to say. My point is, they seem to take everything on their shoulders, and it's like you don't have to do that. Like, your job is to come in here and do this, this, and this. You don't need to worry about what this guy's doing, what this guy's doing, what this guy's doing. You don't need to, and they become micromanagers. And there's a new study out that says that 58% of women feel more stressed out at work than men do because they feel that they have to take everything on at work and at home.
Well, and this is
what we do. The same. I mean, we're the same people. We live in the same house.
This is what ultimately is going to lead to the gender gap in wages will be closed soon. I think it'll be sooner than later. I know that people were talking about, like 2030, men are still going to be making more than women. I don't see that happening. I think that especially the past year has done a lot to close that gender gap. And the fact that you have this laissez-faire attitude about the employment, but the woman seems more motivated. I'm going to use a different M word.
Oh, I wouldn't say that's true. Do you think women are more motivated than men are?
I think so. And I think that motivation lies from getting less payment than the men do. Now, I don't know if that's the case around here. But I just think that if you're going to speak generally and broad,
it's the kind of person you are. I mean, I don't know. I think it's men or women are motivated.
Yeah. But I think that people that feel like they need to take on more at work end up getting further in their job because of the fact that they are willing to take on more and more, and you're missing the point. They're not just doing the status
I guess
quo.
You're missing my point, and my point isn't that about taking stuff on. It's about worrying about things that they shouldn't even be thinking about. Mm-hmm. Like, you should be focused. This is your job. Don't worry about what's going on over here. You're not the mother here. You don't have to worry about everything. This is what I want you. This is what I want. I'm hiring you to do. I want you to worry about this right here. That doesn't mean you have to worry about this or what's going on over there. That's not your issue. And I feel like. And I know I'm getting a lot of flack from women on this, but I just feel like women have this mothering instinct or nurturing thing about them. Not nature, sorry. Nurturing thing about them where they consume more than they have to.
But I think, and that's what I'm saying, is if we're going to generalize now,
because then other parts of your job
thing, because they have this nurturing,
but then other things that you want them to do, they're not getting done to the quality or the level that they should be because you're too worried about other things that you shouldn't even be that are distracting you that shouldn't be.
The nice thing that what you're talking about though is that those people, whether it be men or women, because men and women can both have those qualities, it shows passion. If they're worried about things at work, if I were to run a business, I'd want everybody that works for me to be worried about how that to take pride and be worried about how that business is running, because then that means they are putting forth their best effort to make sure and ensure that business is running the best possible way.
I know we're just talking hypothetically here, but I have a couple of friends and they have a wine business together. They have a winery. They own a winery. One guy really makes the wine. The other guy really markets the wine. And they trust each other. Now, not saying that the guy that sells the wine doesn't, have something to say about how the blends are done or whatever the case is, but he trusts the guy that makes the wine to make the wine because that is what that guy does well.
Thing, dog.
The guy that sells it, the other guy trusts him to sell it because he's good at making the wine. And they have a very successful business because they trust each other and they're focused on what they need to be focused on. They're not half-assing making the wine because they also have to worry about selling it, and he's not half-ass selling it because he's also worried that this guy isn't doing his job right in making the wine. So, and
is it just the
that's
two of them?
Just one example.
Is it just the two of them?
That's and a wife and one of the guy's wives.
So it's a very small business.
It's a very, very small business. Matter of fact, it's a second job. They both have full-time jobs outside of this.
So, but in that case, if it's a very small business, then okay. Whatever. Most people don't work in small businesses that are literally like that is family owned, and you've got to make up slack for other people that get hired into the workplace. Like, I'm just going to say, like, around here, there are some people that we've got to pick up the slack for, and help them do their jobs, or help them get things done better. And I think women feel the need to fix things, like you said, because of that nurturing thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's good news ultimately for women because it will end up closing that gender gap quicker. Because we kind of kick back and we have,
or they'll end up having a heart attack.
We have your attitude, and that attitude,
or the stress will hurt them because stress is bad for your body.
Just do the job that you came to do, and and enjoy your life and all that things. Well, the women are going to surpass us, just like the Japanese did in the 80s, because they were working 100-hour weeks and we were working 40-hour weeks. So watch out, guys. Women, they're hot on your trail. They're hot on your trail, man.
Your thoughts, love to hear them. 805-543-3693. You can call or text on the 805-BEER lines. That's 543-3693. Hi, go ahead.
Hey, I was just listening to you guys talk about women getting their brains into everything.
Yeah.
And you're totally right. We don't do it on purpose, but it's the way our brains are wired. I'm going to stop talking to you for a second because there's a cop driving by right now. Hold on a second.
All right.
Just put the phone down. Put the phone down. Hold on. I love it when I do that. I love it when I do that to my wife. She's like, "Where'd you go?" I was like, "I was the police officer."
If you can hear me or not.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. We can hear you. Put it on speakerphone, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, dialing as going around the corner. I'm in a hurry. So long story short, I heard this years ago when I was in college, and then my middle son repeated it to me. And I don't know if he's a psychologist or what, but he talked about the difference between a man's brain and a woman's brain. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this. And the man's brain has got several boxes in it. Each box has its own little subject, but no box ever touches the other box. When you're in one box, you're focused on that box. Whatever's in that box, that's what you give 110% to. A woman's brain is like a ball of yarn. Everything connects. So when we think of one thing, it sets off a spark to another emotion, which sets off a spark to another emotion. So our brain is constantly firing from one thing to another. That's why our conversations sometimes go on and on and on and on. We can't focus on one thing because, oh, my gosh, I'm cleaning this room and I see a backpack. Oh, that reminds me of my kid. And, oh, my kid, that pisses me off because so-and-so did this. And so we're chasing our tail nonstop.
But the good thing is about that.
We understand, for the most part, most women, I hope, we understand we drive you crazy because we're driving ourselves crazy, too.
I understand.
To be honest with you.
Well,
but
thank you.
I guess the good takeaway from this is you have the ball of yarn and you have the compartmentalized boxes over here, and together, we all make a pretty good team.
We do.
Yeah.
If you just understand that marriage has nothing to do with 50-50, it's 100% and 100% on both parts, and nothing is ever going to be perfect, and you're both going to be pissed off at some point, just get over it and move on.
I just don't know how lesbians do it.
No kidding.
All right. Thanks for the call.
You guys have a good day.
Yeah. Wow. I'm really surprised that we got that phone call.
She's not the only one. Jackie writes in. She says, women are just more nosy than men. Places of employment that are full of women are statistically proven to have more drama than those full of men. I think women are hands down more productive than men because they're better multitaskers, but the drama that they create for themselves within the workplace gets in the way of their career growth. That's the reason for the gender gap.
Well, I know, but it's funny. She was talking about the yarn in the boxes and they're nosy, but I think guys are kind of. We have some of those traits too. Like I don't focus just on one thing. Like I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you and I'm always doing two other things. Besides drinking coffee, I'm looking at tests, I'm looking at the Facebook, I'm looking to see what's going on. I can't just focus on our and maybe that's this job, I don't know. But when I'm at home, I can't just watch TV. I got to be on my phone.
Everybody's chiming in on the 805-BEER text line saying that you got the female brain. Maybe your brain.
Well, that's because I said I have kind of a female brain.
Number one,
not like they're coming up with it. I said that earlier.
Number one Poison fan says, "Hey, listen, we all start out as females in the womb."
Right. We do? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I've had 2 babies recently, and I still didn't know that.
I don't even know if that's right.
At no point in time did Dr. Monroy turn to me and say, by the way, that's a female right now, and then it could be a boy later on.
Well, think about it. When the embryo's growing, it doesn't have a penis, and then all of a sudden, I'll say, oh, what is that? You're having a boy.
Do we start out as females in the womb, though? I mean, number one Poison fan seems to be, he says, and the reason why is he says.
His name says it all. He's definitely credentialed.
Yeah, he's definitely qualified.
Dr. Poison over here.
He says that's why we have nipples. That's why men have nipples, is because we started out as females.
All right, well, he's starting to put out some pretty valid evidence
and
now.
he says that's why you have a yarn brain.
Because we all start out as females, and maybe I just didn't...
Maybe you just have the yarn brain a little bit. You got a little bit female going on.
And, I've noticed that I'm starting to get as I get older.
That's an age thing.
Oh, okay.
I'd be fine with that. Age and a lack of exercise thing.
Thanks for hanging on. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. Hey, women are we accepting the fact that men and women are wired differently?
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. Sometimes that people like to argue about that. So obviously we have like different things that reward our brains and stuff. I think that has a lot to do with the pursuit of careers and the results of pay differences.
Meaning?
Oh, well, some women like to some women like to stay at home, some don't. So you're going to have a difference in those gaps. If guys don't stay at home, then they're obviously a larger percentage of guys go out and work the whole time the child is being raised. They're going to have a further advance in their career.
That's true. Women, in a lot of instances, get the option.
Yeah, well, and they're just drawn to it differently. It's the wiring. I understand it. I don't blame them at all.
But if you could stay at home and I don't have kids, so that's a huge variable.
Oh,
but if I
could work kids over you people any day.
But if I could work from home, I would love to work from home. Not that I'm antisocial. I would love to work from home. Who wouldn't?
I had a unique situation where I was laid off and did pretty well with Bitcoin, so I was actually able to stay home as like a kind of a stay-at-home dad for a couple of years. It was awesome.
Yeah, it would be the nice. My next door neighbor, he doesn't have any kids, but he gets to stay at home. He's a stay-at-home worker.
See, that's great.
And I was like,
I have a friend,
and it's funny because
she does the same thing.
It's not like it's tough. He just works at Ernie Ball, so they allow him to stay at home.
See, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
They have another person that works out of their house, but they're also kind of do sales, so they have some appointments. But they get to work out of their house. My dad did the same thing. And what he did with his career, he worked from home, but he also did sales. So he would see appointments, but his office was at home.
Would you be able to work from home?
Oh, God, yeah, I would love it.
You think so, though?
Oh, I know.
With all the distractions around the house, you'd be like, no,
there's no distractions.
I'll get to it when I get to it.
There's more distractions here than there is around the house.
I went to
Jeremy losing it that his battery charger's unplugged.
No, that was me. That's my battery.
Oh, no, he lost the battery charger, but my batteries are always dying.
Yeah.
And I lose it because of that. I'm so tired of batteries running my life. And that's kind of what I was trying to get to earlier this morning. Tricky Dick just wrote it and says, Jeremy, you might be a little feminine. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. I'm a multitasker. I've always been somebody who it's probably the ADD, that I never got the Ritalin for.
How many sunglasses, Jeremy?
How many sunglasses?
Oh, you do have a lot of bottles of cologne. We've established that.
Well, I've cut back. I've only got like 6 now.
That's still a lot. That is still a lot.
That's still a lot. I mean, I'm really only wearing like 4 at a time, but I still have some that are...
At the same time?
Well, I mean, you buy them and then you don't finish them and they just stick in your medicine cabinet or whatever in your bathroom. And so you got
to wait for that season to come around again where you can rock the musk.
This is
exactly. Yeah, like right now I'm still kind of wearing my winter smell, which is kind of like this tobacco leaf type thing. Why do you laugh?
You have a winter smell, huh?
And then I have a summer cologne, a spring cologne, and a fall cologne.
You understand that the biggest enabler of your female mind is the fact that you get your own bathroom.
So wait a second. I get my own bathroom to save the marriage. My wife can't stand this when I shave and trim my beard, all the little hairs everywhere. And I got tired of getting yelled at and having to clean them up all the time.
Yeah, what happens
so
when
I moved out of the master bathroom and I went down the hall.
Is there enough room for the cologne supply?
There's even more because I got all my cabinets. It's good to go.
Good morning. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.